All right. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. Okay. So good morning, everyone. So let's introduce ourselves and then go through a little bit of ice breaking. Um, the first thing I would like to check with everyone is: are you able to see the share screen? All right. Let's see. Hmm. All right. It seems that some people are able to, some people can't. Okay. So now can. All right. So so there are three facilitators for today. Let's introduce ourselves a little bit. So good morning, I'm Yongru. I've got about 8 years in the field of education, mainly in teaching, coaching, and teacher training. And Aisha and Nancy, would you like to introduce yourselves a little as well?
Okay, hello everyone. I am Nancy. Um, I got only 4 years in the field of education and been involved with teaching and also teacher training. Nice to meet you all.
Hey, Assalamualaikum and good morning to everyone. We're very honored to have you with us this morning. So I'm Aisha. So I have spent about 3 years in the field of education, and previously I was in the built environment world. Thank you.
All right, so a little bit of an interactive guide for today. So we would love to see your faces. So please turn on your videos, and also if you're not speaking, please also mute your microphone, and then let's all be really active on the chat feed so that it can make it more interesting for and a more interesting experience for both you and I. All right, so for today, mute unmute, think and share, and please turn on your videos. For the expectations for today, it will be curious, be respectful, and be involved. So let's also think and reflect, share all your thoughts, and capture any learning that you have. So the first thing that we will be doing to get to know each and every one of you a little bit more is let's get onto Mentimeter. So the link can be found over here. And also feel free to use the QR code if that works better for you. All right, I see some people scanning already. So please give me a little bit of reactions if you are able to get onto Mentimeter. So the reaction button can also be found on your bar below. All right, I see some thumbs up over there. I see quite a number of thumbs up. All right. Okay, so yay, I've already seen quite a number of you reacting towards the Mentimeter. Wow, so there are about, the numbers are increasing now. So there are quite a number of educators over here. There are some conservationists. Um, Option 4 is I am not sure who am I at the moment. So maybe a bit of an identity crisis, but it's okay. Everyone has different identities. So conservationists, educators, some parents as well. All right. So let's give people a little bit more time before we move to the next one. All right, so we've got a lot of educators over here. Wow, I see the educator bar going up and up and up and up. Right, there are some conservationists as well, and some who may have more than one identity over here, and there are some parents as well. All right, let's give people a few more seconds. All right. Okay, now let's move to the next one then. So majority of people in the group are educators today. Some are conservationists, parents, and some have more than one identity. All right, let's move on to the second one. So there are three statements here over here. So you can move the scale to see whether you strongly disagree or strongly agree to it. So I believe it is important to learn about nature. I believe I can make a difference through education. And I believe that online teaching and learning can be engaging. So there is no right or wrong answer over here. We would really, really just like to hear what you think and how you feel. All right, we see the scales moving a little bit as people are thinking. All right, let's give people a little bit more time.
If you're not able to share on Mentimeter, you can also type in the chat.
Ah, I see that for the first statement, it is important to learn about nature. It's on a 4.6, which is actually just the same as I believe I can make a difference through education. But when it comes to online teaching and learning can be engaging, it is slightly more towards the middle. So let's see. All right. The scales are still moving a little bit as we see people still interacting with it. It moves up and down a little. All right. So in the interest of time, let's move to the next one. Please do share one word why you are here today. Only one word. I can see some people cringing like, oh gosh, I cannot do this in one word. So let's try one word. Wow, the word learn is really, really big now. And word impact, learning, explore, knowledge, experience, improvement, inspirational, discover, reflect, engage, connect, impart, look, fun, ideas, knowledge, out of the box, difference, free, breakthrough, curious, obligation, passion, motivation, nature, work, discover. All right, let's have one more minute. Concerned, love, creativity. I love all the words I'm seeing over here. All right. The one who said out of the box is really, really smart. So with the dash, it became a word, huh? All right. There's also listen, ways. All right. So thank you very much for engaging in the Mentimeter, everyone. And I see growth as well. All right. So let's come back to our session. And as we return to the session, something's happening. What is it? Oh no. As we return to the session, suddenly we see the forest is burning, and your mission now is to save that poor tapir on the tree over here. So what you will need to do now is, in order to save the tapir, you will have 30 seconds to find any object near you that is reusable. And what you will need to do is you will need to act out how you would use this item to save the tapir. All right. So for our friends on Facebook Live, please share in the chat. While for our friends on Zoom, please turn your camera on or write in your chat feed to share with us. Your 30 seconds starts now. Find an item to save the tapir. Find an item that is reusable. Look to your left, look to your right. I see people looking around. Find one item to save the tapir. All right, what can you find? What can you see? And it has to be reusable.
I can see people kind of scratching their head, looking around. It's okay, there's no right and wrong. Just try to grab something.
Use your creativity.
Yongru, could I use my tea?
Oh, yes, you can. Use your creativity. I see water bottles already. All right, anything else?
We can see lots of people having large water bottles.
I see, I think Hui Lin with a fan.
Oh, gang. Ada kain pelikat as well.
Wow.
Extra long phone cable. Extra long phone cable. Yes, you can use that to grab the tapir.
And I
blanket.
Collis with a Milo bag. I really wonder what are you going to do with it. If you are able to unmute yourself and share what you're going to do, use it for, that's great as well. Anyone would like to unmute yourself and share? I see some of you are still not showing your faces just yet. Would really love to see.
A tarp. Curtain, yeah. If you're at home, you definitely have curtain. Or it must be fireproof curtain though, fireproof blanket. You don't want to add the flames to be bigger.
All right, so
mini fan in garbage. Yeah.
I think I saw Pauline with something just now as well. What was it?
Call 911.
Oh, call 911.
Very true.
All right, so thank you.
A step ladder.
A step ladder as well. Who has a step ladder?
William King has a step ladder.
Wow. And what I would also do is I will use this as a lasso and like go turn it around and go save the tapir and pull it down. All right, so thank you very much for engaging with us. Well done, the tapir is safe now. All right. Now, let's wear our teacher hats. Why do you think we did that 2 activities just now? Why do you think we did that 2 activities just now? All right, so to get people going, to get people's attention, to get people to engage, to get participants to switch on cameras. Yes, you caught me over there.
We got some interesting feedback on Facebook as well.
So maybe you can share a little bit, Aisha?
This one was for the previous question. Some people say like there's someone with a flower pot filled with water.
That's true. I also see a trampoline as well somewhere. All right. So coming back to why we did it, is really to think out of the box, and it's a great set deduction, fun and engaging. And I'm not sure about you, but in my own classrooms, a lot of my students would turn their cameras off, and this is a good way to get them to start and have their cameras turned on as well. All right. These are our learning intentions for today. So by the end of the session, you'll be able to identify some practical activities to teach environmental modules and experience some strategies used in an online session. The reason why we run this session today is because we believe in environmental education. And for the Habitat Foundation, we believe with an affinity with nature to understand our dependence on nature and be able to build capacity and support innovation and provide resources, especially in the areas of communication, education, and public awareness. So this is the session agenda for today. You will be going through quite a journey with us. So be prepared for a really, really quick roller coaster ride onto different parts of nature. So thank you for embarking on the journey with us. We've just gone through a bit of ice breaking just now. We will then go under the sea to explore marine ecosystems, enter caves, hike up a rainforest, identify life in our ecosystems, and then experience what are some human impact towards the nature. The experiential guide for today, there will always be 2 segments for each activity. Part 1 will be the immersive experience, where you will go through the experience being a participant. And in part 2, we will go through a metacognitive process to share why the activities were chosen. So are you ready to go for a trip now? So do light up the chat room if you are ready. So are you ready to go on a trip now, everyone?
Yes. Yes, yes.
Yes. Let's go.
Hello, hello, beautiful people. Today we are going for a trip in nature. Give me 1 second. All right. Okay, so to keep our interaction going, for those who are tuning in from Facebook Live, feel free to share your responses in the comment section. And for those who are on Zoom with us, feel free to type in the chat feed or unmute yourself and then verbalize your answer. So, as we saw on our journey map just now, first, we are going to the sea and we are going to explore a part of the marine ecosystem. Okay, this virtual trip is designed to give you an idea of what is marine ecosystem, the importance of learning about it, and how we can teach it to others. So, gear up, ladies and gentlemen. Put on your sunglasses. I cannot put it in because I have my glasses on already. Your fancy hat, don't forget your fancy hat as well. And don't forget to bring along some snacks for the trip. Since we are doing it virtually, sunscreen is optional for today. So, are you ready? If you are ready, type "let's go" on the chat feed. Okay, I see a lot of people are ready. All right, let's go. Now that we are on our way, first, let's see how is our environment, how is our knowledge on marine ecosystem. Choose which statement is true. Is it A? The whole ocean has only one type of marine ecosystem. Well, everything is air masin, kan? Warna biru, so maybe that's it. That's the whole one ecosystem. Or is it B? There are more than one type of marine ecosystem. It's okay. You may share your answer in the chat feed and the comment. It's okay if you got it wrong. That's why we are here today, to learn something new. Let me take a quick read of the chat. Okay, I see most of you got the answer correct. Well done. Yes, the correct answer is B. There are more than one type of marine ecosystem. Well done, people. All right, let's continue. But what exactly is marine ecosystem? And the simplest way to explain it is through this animation here. This is an ocean, the big blue ocean that we see every day if we go to the beach, right? And these are the animals and plants living in the ocean. And together, they form a beautiful marine ecosystem where every living things interact with one another. Okay, in the whole world, as we already mentioned just now, there are many types of marine ecosystem which can be categorized by their location, their depths, and type of animals and plants living there. And this picture over here illustrates 6 types of marine ecosystems in tropical climate, like in Malaysia. Okay, first, we have a sandy beach where we usually enjoy our picnic long before the pandemic happened. And then next is the rocky shore And then the most colorful one, the coral reef. And the next one is somewhere down here is the seagrass bed where dugong usually lives. And then we have the open sea. And last but not least is the mangrove where most of the kerang in our char kway teow used to live. But today, we are not going to look into all of this marine ecosystem. We are going to explore only 2 types of marine ecosystem in Malaysia. Okay, now that we already know a little bit about our marine ecosystem, let's have a picnic here, which is on the first marine ecosystem just now, the sandy beach. One of the ecosystem that we can easily explore. Let's use our senses. How do you feel when you listen to the sound of the waves, the sound of the birds? Close your eyes, maybe imagine you are sitting there, reading a book, enjoying the view at the beach. How do you feel? Okay, I'm gonna give another maybe 15 seconds for you to get the feelings in, and then share your responses in the chat. I see some people write calming, peaceful, relaxing. Yes. Going out, I can smell it too now. Oh, very good. Yes, now use a little bit of your imagination again. As you walk along the beach, what kind of animal you might see around? Let's see. Maybe look to the left, to the right. What animal do you think you will see? Crabs, starfish.
Because of the sound of the birds, someone on Facebook is scared that their food might be stolen.
Oh, yes. So take care of your food if you're going picnic on the beach or at the beach. As you walk around along the beach, we will see different living things, right? Different crabs. Sometimes you also see dry leaves, seaweed being washed to the beach. And if we are lucky, we will get to enjoy the sound just now, sound of the seagull singing around and singing, enjoying their time too. Amazing, kan? How amazing life is before COVID. It's still amazing. We can do this today. Okay, now that we have spent some time at the beach, it's time for a swim. Put on your snorkeling gears, diving gears. We are gonna explore the underwater world, the most vibrant and colorful marine ecosystem, the coral reef. Has anyone tried diving or snorkeling before? Which one do you prefer? Do you prefer diving or do you prefer snorkeling? Let us know on the chat or on the comment by typing diving if you prefer diving, or type snorkeling if you prefer snorkeling. And as you do that, I'm gonna take off my hat now as I don't need it underwater. Yes, I can see some divers in the house, some snorkeling too. I love diving as well. Now let's see, how well do we know our coral? Can anyone tell me, is coral a plant or is it an animal? Or maybe is it a rock? Please share your answer in the chat. Some answer A, or is plant, animal, but most of you got it right. Yes, the correct answer is B. Yes, although sometimes they look like a plant, like moving around. Sometimes they just like look like the rock standing there, but coral is actually an animal. Now, let's jump into the water and explore the underwater world. As you can see, coral reefs is the most vibrant and colorful marine ecosystem. because of the beautiful coral and variety of life around it. Here, we can see different types of corals, right? And the colorful Christmas tree worms, some clownfish, chocolate chip sea stars, and many more. There are a lot of interesting stuff going on under the water. Okay, one of my favorite animals is the nudibranch. There are different types of them, and all of them looks just very unique and interesting. And sometimes, if we are lucky, we'll get to see a shark and some turtle too. Okay, among all the marine animals you have seen today, let us know in the chat which marine animal do you find most interesting. I'm gonna give it another 5 seconds for your responses to come in. I see some people write turtle, pufferfish, shark, sand dollar, yes, Nemo, reef shark, nudibranch, seahorse. Yes, do you see the seahorse over here? Looks so tiny and very unique being, living things. Okay. All right. We have come to an end of our marine exploration. I know it's fun. Imagine doing it not virtually, right? Going really underwater, enjoying the calm environment under the water. So let's end it with this time-lapse video of how coral polyps grow into reefs. They're amazing, right? From a tiny one and grow into a beautiful coral reef. All right, thank you for joining me on our brief marine exploration just now. During the session, I actually have used some key strategies to introduce this topic to all of you. The first one, I utilize multisensory learning by including audio and visual contents in visual elements in my content during our brief exploration. The second one is I encourage imagination through storytelling by inviting all of you to join and prepare for the trip with me. And I have also included some prop. You can do that during your own classes as well to invite and to attract kids or students' interest. And the last one is I engage participants by asking them to make choices and through some question and answer. Okay, now let's take off your diving and snorkeling gears and get ready for a cave exploration.
Assalamualaikum and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Caves. Okay, welcome to Limestone and Caves. I'm really inspired and also humbled to see so many of you on Zoom and also our friends on Facebook Live. In this section, we will swiftly look at three things. First, in the section is a brief introduction into limestone and caves in Malaysia. Second is how to attract people to learn about limestone and caves. And third, why caves is important. Why is it important to teach limestone and caves? Okay, before we go dive into the caves, just a super quick check. Has anyone visited a cave before? Ooh, it's really fast. So for our friends on Facebook Live, you can also type in the chat. Wow, we have actually so this is really exciting. There's so many people who've been to caves, and if you have been, maybe perhaps you can share as well which caves, Sepatu Cave, Gua Tempurung. You can share which cave and where. So I'm going to give a bit of time because there's actually a lag in our Facebook Live. Yes, correct, Brian. There's lots of caves in Ipoh. So there's a lot of Batu Caves, Gua Tempurung, Gua Kelam, Dark Cave. Okay, another 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. We've also got someone who's been to Gua Nia and Sarawak. Okay. We are going to annotate on the map in the next slide. So for our friends on Zoom who have not used the annotate button before, this is how you do it. First, go to the view options and then select annotate. And second, select a stamp option. And third, when you've finished stamping, you can click X. So I would like everyone on Zoom to sort of just test out your stamps on this particular slide at the moment. If you can just stamp on this. Oh, I'm missing. Actually, Yongru, sorry, I can't see my slide.
I think we don't have the annotate function on this one for some
Oh,
Yeah, I just realized.
sorry. We were hoping we could annotate, but never mind. Just use the chat. Okay, yeah, okay. Apologies for a bit of a technical. I didn't know that. Oh, sedih. Okay, tak apa. In that case, I think we'll just use the chat. Okay, we'll just use the chat. So we're gonna go into the next one. Okay, so what we'd like to know today, where are you joining us from? So please share in the chat. Johor, KL, PJ, KL. Tawau, we've got some from Sabah, Penang. Wow, really fast slopes. Trying to catch up. Shah Alam. All right, close to me, I'm in Subang, Penang, Negeri Sembilan, Penang, Selangor. So just going to wait for response in our Facebook Live. Ipoh, Terengganu. Okay, yeah, so what I was actually hoping to see on this map is like just the concentration and the population, or where people start to dot around in the map. So you can, I guess, imagine for now. So what I can gather, just another 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so what I can gather is that, wow, it's really, really so humbling to have everyone from all parts of Malaysia joining us today. So there are plenty of limestone and caves in Malaysia, but do you know where you can find them aside from the ones that if you've been, like where else do you know of a cave that you would like to visit, but maybe you still haven't been to? So because you can't add a stamp, so maybe you can type in the chat. Mostly in the northern states of Peninsula, yep, like Perak, Guacharas, Thai. Oh, Thai. Oh wait, we've got one audience from Thailand, mashallah. Yeah, Guanya. Okay, another. So this will be a quite rapid fire, 5 seconds. Any other that you know of that you want to go to? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bajra Tinti Wangsa. Mulu. Okay, I'm really excited that a lot of people have typed in Mulu, Gua Tempurung, Gua Telinga. Okay. So the red spots on the map indicate, quite a lot of you mentioned just now, indicate the locations of the limestone hills in Malaysia. So a lot of people actually wanted to go to Mulu, so you can see Mulu at the bottom middle corner there, Gulu Mulu National Park. But yeah, for our friends in Sabah, there's also Gua, let me see my screen. Yeah, Gua Mantang, and then there's like, as someone said, there's Gua Tempurung, and then there's lots in the northern part. So within the next few minutes, we'll be zipping across 6 states around Malaysia to explore some of the limestone and caves as represented by the red dots on the map. Okay, right now, imagine that you are all cave explorers for this moment. Okay, so the first question I have is that when we're going to explore cave, what should we wear? So please free to type in the chat. So again, this will be quite a rapid fire like brainstorm. So with what, yeah, we can see what the boy is wearing. There's a headlamp, helmet, gloves, climbing boots. Yeah, proper shoes, boots, safety helmet, torch, boots. Yeah. Yes, actually, yes, ropes. Ropes definitely, and torch. So it's going to be pretty dark in a cave, so definitely having a headlamp so that is useful. So like I'm actually going to wear now, just for the fun of it. Okay, so a headlamp helps us to see what we can what's around us when it's all dark. And so things like what a lot of people have mentioned, protective boots and gloves. And then what we should also bring in, so I've got in the image here is a dry bag. So it could be quite wet in there, and some caves actually have a river stream. So you want to keep your belongings in a dry bag. So there's like a Velcro headlamp and a camera. Yeah, camera. What I haven't got in this image here is a camera. So things like compass to help us navigate, and also do not forget your first aid kit as well, or like a mini one. Okay, so now that, so imagine all of us have got all this gear on and our bags ready. So let's go. Okay. I hope everyone will be quite excited. There's a lot of people want to go to Mulu. So we begin our journey here at Gunung Mulu National Park. It's a very magical place. It's actually one of my favorite places on earth, and it is protected under the UNESCO, under the World Heritage List. So just how big is Gunung Mulu National Park? So I would like everyone to imagine you're driving from KL to Taiping, or driving from KL to Muar, which maybe takes around about 3 hours or so. That travel distance is actually, that 3 hours drive is the length of explored caves in Gunung Mulu National Park. It's like how huge the amount of caves explored there. For today, we're just going to look at two of the caves in Gunung Mulu National Park. Okay, we are now in Sarawak Chamber in Gua Nasib Bagus. This is actually the largest known cave chamber in the world by area. It is normally pitch black in here, but a number of National Geographic team of cavers have actually briefly set up dozens of light bulbs to illuminate the space so we can get this beautiful picture. I would like to ask our friends on Zoom and Facebook, can you spot humans? And if so, because we can't annotate, can you type in, is it in the center, middle, and how many can you see? How many humans? One squatting, yeah. So there are also some, there's 4. Okay, I'll give 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. There's actually good guesses. There's a lot of people who guess around the same range. So yes, someone's correct that there's actually 3, and some of the ones that are like smaller, they're actually props for the light bulb. So it may look like humans, but there's sort of light bulbs in the distance. But there's about 3 of them in here. Yeah. Okay, fun. Okay. We are now going to quickly study how big these 2 buildings are to help us measure the size of the next cave chamber we're going to see. So, so in this picture, can you locate the cars? And if you can, say yes. And for this one, I give 5 seconds. Yes, no, can you see the cars in the picture? 5, 4, oh yeah, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sorry. Okay, there it is. So yes, like an ant, right? It is very, very tiny. So the idea of this is that if you can spot the cars, you can understand how big these 2 buildings are, right? So now that we can imagine how big these buildings are, Okay, I want you to imagine a space, okay, a space large enough to fit in five times the size of one of these buildings, either the Masjid Shah Alam in Selangor or the St. Paul Cathedrals in London. Okay, so try to imagine a space that can fit in 5 times of this building. So let's now move to our next destination. Drum roll. Jeng, jeng, jeng. Okay, so this is a place called Deer Chamber. It is one of the largest cave passages on Earth. So this one is not the whole cave, it's just a segment of the cave. And it is, this whole chamber is big enough that it can fit in 5 of the buildings that you saw just now. Even a Boeing airplane can fly through it. Okay, and this should be a very quick one. Can you spot the humans in this one? And then you can type. Yes. It's very tiny, right? Yes, so indeed they are in, yes, thank you. Very, very good, very fast. So there's 2 of them in the middle there. So seeing the human, you can have an understanding again, like how big these buildings are when we're trying to compare the scale. Okay, now we're gonna proceed. Okay, we are now flying to Peninsular Malaysia. So our friends in Selangor and KL would be very familiar with this, or even actually a lot of people in the audience here have been to this place. Where is this? Can you recognize from the picture? Yes, it is indeed Batu Caves. Okay, and it's perhaps as per the picture is most well known as being one of the most popular Hindu shrines outside of India. Okay, but do you know how old Batu Caves is though? So everyone can recognize the picture, but how old is Batu Cave? So no. Okay, so Batu Caves is around, it was formed around 450 million years ago. Yes, Rex from Toy Story, that is right. Batu Caves has existed even before the presence of dinosaurs. And you know why? Because the oldest dinosaur fossil ever found, okay, is 243 million years ago, and our homie Batu Caves is like 450 million years ago. So I would like you to try to remember. Yes, Rex is quite smart, right? I would like you to try to remember this for what we're about to see next. Okay. Okay. We're now going to watch a short video to see how caves are formed. So it's a few seconds, yeah. So this video shows how a cave is formed, and it just it goes on a loop for like, I mean, the whole process you see in just a few seconds, but in reality, how long does it take for a cave to be formed? As shared in the last slide, can you remember how long does it take for a cave to be formed? So the video is a few seconds, but in reality is, can you share in the chat? Yes, in the millions of years. So between the hundreds of millions of years, okay? So million, yeah, so it's actually millions, kind of in the range of millions. So we'll continue our journey to Gua Jenjang Pelamin in Marapoh, Pahang. Okay, so looking at this photo, I'm hoping that a lot of you can recall back the names of what you learned back in geography class, or maybe we have some geography teachers here. So what are the cave formations that you can recognize in this picture? And this will be a bit of a rapid fire round as well. So 10 seconds if you can spot any formations that you can remember. Ah, yes. The 2 most, in fact, okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Spot on. Well done, everyone. It is, in fact, a lot of people guessed right. Yeah, I mean, not guessed, but you know, right? Stalactite, which is the top formation, and also the stalagmite. But what I've not seen on the in the chat in both kind of Facebook and also on Zoom is that when stalactite and stalagmite over time, when they combine, when they kind of go and go together, they form the column. So, oh, sorry. Yeah, so with what we understood from the previous slides is that caves take millions of years to form. Yeah. And these formations actually are important because it's what researchers use to understand and measure how old a cave is. Oh, so we're now traveling further to Perak and to check out some prehistoric findings that you can find in caves. So what you see in A is the first orang-utan fossil teeth found, which is found in Lembah Kinta in Perak. And I'm going to show another fossil. So can you try to guess what you are seeing in B? To give a hint, it is so it's an animal. It's an animal. So not marine animal, it's a land animal. This one confirmed can't be in, I mean, it can't, well, it can swim perhaps, but okay, we have bird, we have dinosaur. Oh yeah, Rina, I think your comment about stalactite, yeah, that's how my teacher taught me as well. So bird bone, okay, croc. Okay, we're gonna give another maybe 10 seconds. Swan, vulture, gigi, chicken, granddaddy, family. Okay, actually is in the same family of like a pet that all of us have. Like the meow. Yeah, okay. So actually lion, so I forgot to mention, this fossil is in Malaysia, yeah. So lion, we need our rainforest. So we don't have, unfortunately, we don't have lions here. So it is actually a what you see here, I'm going to reveal the answer, is actually yes, well done. Okay, towards the end, breakthrough, tiger, well done. So it is the scientific name is Panthera tigris, and this particular one is found in Gua Naga Mas in Gopeng, Perak. So this is in Perak, and this one is 320 million years ago. And this one is 320,000 years ago. Sorry, apologies for my wrong fact. Yeah, so really old. Okay, right now we're moving on. So it's all dark. Okay, so this is the reality of what it is will be like in a cave. And do you think animals could live in here? And it's a quick yes or no. Yes. Yeah. Oh, some people say no, they can't. Okay. So yes, majority. Okay. So okay, what can you see on the left, in the picture there? Can you guess what that black patch is on the cave wall? Yes. Oi, pantas, very good. Okay, yeah, it is. I guess it's. I guess you can tell. I mean, this is some. Bats is something that all of us we associate with caves. So it is in fact bats. So bats. So what is important about bats is that it is the most important animal in the food chain. And because of the bats, we can have other insects because of the guano that the bats produce. And animals that live in a cave are the ones that evolve over time. And a cave without bat means that there's no other animals that can be found usually. Okay. Now moving on. Can anyone tell in this image what we are seeing? Please share in the chat. So there's a lot of guessing games today. Okay, this one I give 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes, it is in fact a lot of people guessed it right. It is in fact, these are actually snails, but not ordinary snails. So some people say look like licorice. Yeah, it is very rare snails that are found in the rocks in Sabah. And the limestone rocks in Sabah. So to our friends in Sabah, this is from your home, yeah. And this is actually endemic to Sabah, meaning that it cannot be found anywhere else, only in Sabah. Okay, so now that you've seen this image, can I see a show of hands of anyone who would like to see this in real life? They want to go see it one day. Hannah wants to see it. Nancy, Nazreen, Alia. Okay. And there's a lot of hand raised as well. Yeah. So I'm really grateful to see. Okay, so some people know as well, which is completely fine. But I think what I saw from today, actually a majority would like to see it. And it is also at this point that I am like heartbroken to break your, very sad to break your heart, because the reality about this snail unfortunately, is that it is no longer with us because it's now extinct. Yeah, it's like so this is actually, I just want to show a quick example of like, not example, but yeah, example of one of the species that is already extinct because of the, what happens when limestone mining activities are not controlled or not monitored well in this country. So a lot of the habitat is lost. And this is actually one of the, species that is no longer, yeah, we have lost because of that. And sorry, moving on to more from that. Yes. I know you can tell what this fruit is. So can I know who are fans of the fruit at the top right hand corner, durian? Who here loves? Oh, receive some. Okay, another supper. Who else love durian here? Who are durian fans? A lot of hand raised here. So I'm feeling a lot of durian love. Some people haven't tried yet. Yeah. It's also someone's kryptonite. Okay, so and then someone saying it's also getting more expensive. It is right. So I can really feel the durian love actually vibing through this room. And the thing about durians is, and also maybe some people like my sister doesn't like it. Okay, so the thing about durian is very much a Malaysian beloved food. An interesting fact is that in order for us to get the healthiest, yummiest durian, pollen needs to be exchanged between trees. As you can see in the picture here, and the animal that can help with this process are, as someone already guessed in the chat, it is in fact, you can see in the image there, what animal that we've been seeing today, we saw in the cave earlier, what animal can help with cross-pollination? Yes, it is in fact bats, okay? So bats is actually the key to the durian that we're able to enjoy today. So imagine without bats to help to pollinate the durian flowers, we may not have durian trees at all. And if we lose the bats or we lose the caves, we lose the bats, can you imagine a world without durians? Food for thought, huh? Thank you, bats. Yes, correct. Thank you, bats. Okay, so lastly, I would like to share two examples of a recap sheet. So limestone caves could potentially be a lot of like facts, and so it could be quite a lot of information that your students would have to process. So just creating a worksheet that you can prepare in advance, or a workbook and on a Canva, or you can also turn this into a quiz that you can just help the students to recap. So thank you everyone very much for joining us to explore limestone caves. Now let's put back there's a lot of educators in the house. So I'm going to summarize 3 strategies that was used. Number 1 is that we used earlier, we used maps to try to connect people and the limestone. Oh, and sorry, where was I? Oh, hello. Oh yeah, and secondly is using, sorry, one second, engaging through questions and answer. And lastly, by using images, and for example, the recent example is just when I use the durian, it's sort of intentional as a way to kind of attract people to the subject that we're learning. And with that, you will proceed to the next station. Thank you.
All right. So thank you so much, Aisha. So what we'll do now is welcome everyone to the rainforest experience. So during this journey, we'll walk through what are rainforests, why it is important to teach about rainforests, and what is happening. So before we go on to our journey, we will be watching a short video. And as you watch this video, please take note of the questions stated here. So take your take about 2-3 seconds. If you have a pencil around you, a notebook around you, this is your chance. So let's walk through what are rainforests.
Shrouded in a blanket of clouds, they awaken. Their canopies of green glitter in the sun. Their wildlife start to slither, chirp, and growl. And one of the planet's richest ecosystems comes to life. Rainforests are the oldest living ecosystems on the planet. Some can trace their origins to over 70 million years ago, back to a time when dinosaurs still roamed the Earth. While the giant reptiles have disappeared, rainforests continue to thrive, growing on every continent except Antarctica. Two types of rainforests are scattered across the globe: temperate and tropical. Temperate rainforests are mainly found in the mid-latitudes, often near cooler, coastal, mountainous regions. Tropical rainforests are primarily located in warmer climates between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. As their names imply, temperate and tropical rainforests are the wettest forests on Earth, receiving up to about 33 feet of rain per year. This precipitation plays a critical role in creating an exceptionally lush and biologically diverse habitat. While rainforests only make up about 6% of the Earth's surface area, they are home to over half of the world's plant and animal species. This biodiversity creates benefits that extend far beyond the rainforest boundaries. Rainforest plants produce an assortment of food items, in addition to ingredients useful in everyday products and medicines. In fact, an estimated 70% of the plants used in cancer treatments are only found in rainforests. On an even larger scale, rainforests help to stabilize the planet's climate. Its lush green vegetation regulate global temperatures by absorbing massive amounts of radiation from the sun. They also absorb vast amounts of carbon dioxide and convert them into oxygen, about 40% of the planet's breathable air.
All right. So I hope you have remembered what you have watched, and let's check our answers. So did you get the answers right? If yes, great job. If no, no worries. You can rewatch it again at your own time. So let's move on with our journey today. When we think about rainforests, we usually just think about it as really, really large trees in deep forests. But do you know that there are different types of forests in Malaysia? And the forests are actually named based on their elevation. And today, we will only visit the mangroves. So we will go on a journey through mangroves together. Before we start our journey, I would like you to think about what are things that you would like to bring on this trip and why. So please type in the chat, what are some things that you bring on this trip and why? All right, I see water snacks, I see caps, I see water, mosquito repellent, rubber shoes. All right, I see someone sharing a bit of like hoping this session will talk about Amazon fires and the impact on forests. So I'm very sorry but we might not be able to cover that. All right, boots because of leeches, salt for the leeches, food, mosquito repellent. All right, maps, waterproof shoes on Facebook, camera. Oh, all right. So now as we embark on our journey, let's use a little bit of your imagination. Imagine what you see, how you feel, and what you hear during this journey. And how would you feel in a rainforest? Let's begin our journey. And as we step into the forest, we feel soft and muddy grounds. And as we look around us, the trees look really, really interesting. The leaves are really, really thick. I hear some animals. Why do you think the roots look like this? I see that a lot of people are hearing insects and birds, seeing the roots. All right, there's a bit of crackling sound, smell. I see the correct answer already. Really good. So mangrove trees have these really unique root systems. Yes, very accurate for oxygen transfer because mangroves in the soil over there have really poor oxygen. So then, therefore, parts of the roots are exposed to the air to obtain oxygen from the air. And these are some of the characteristics of the mangrove. So it's usually in muddy areas, have really unique root systems, and have really, really thick leaves. Now, as we continue our walk, look over there. There are many different biodiversity that can be found here. Now, everybody, look to the ground. Look to the ground. There are mud crabs crawling by the mud. And there are some mud skippers too. Look in front of you. Look in front of you. There's an api-api tree that can be found in the mangroves area. Oh, I saw that someone said, wish not to see the mud skipper. Well, that's also the experience. So the api-api tree is also a type of tree that can only be found in mangrove areas. I hear the water now. I hear the water now. Now let's see what's ahead of us. What do you think we found? Look over here. What do you think we found over here? All right, what do you think we found? Ah, great. I see that people are seeing otters now. All right, let's see what's the otter do. Oh, I see hippo as well. So let's see. Let's see what is the otter doing. Let's be really quiet, not to distract the otter. All right, let's move on with our journey. Let's be really, really quiet. All right, so thank you everyone for joining us on that wee hike just now. And now let's really look at why is it important to teach about rainforests. They're really, really cute, right? But let's see what's happening now. What do you see? On the maps over here, what do you see? What do you think is happening? So please write in the chat box. Deforestation, reduction of forests, decline of forests, fragmentation, deforestation, reduction in the forest area. And if you look at the last part for the year 2000, so that was about 21 years ago. So imagine how much of the forest is still being cut down today. And over here, we can see that the forest was cut down to build houses, to plant trees for plantations, rubber estates, oil palm estates, sometimes even for durians. I am also worried about how much that forests are actually left now, Rina. And do you think we will be needing this one day, looking at the picture just now? Why or why not? I see maybe, I see probably, correlation to our water problems, maybe, yes. One day, most likely, yes. There is a possibility. So as we continue our journey, exploring different parts of nature, let's also think about what we need to do to ensure that one day we will not end up using all these over here. Thank you for joining us on our rainforest tour. That is the point for you to ponder. And now let's explore the key strategies that were used. So the first thing was taking notes. Before watching the video, sharing questions so that students and participants are able to take notes and focus on what is the most important part while watching the video. The second part is storytelling to activate students' imagination and senses, because not everyone have had experienced the rainforest before. So with the sounds and images and a bit of storytelling, that helps a lot. And the third one is call to action. That is why the photo of deforestation was shown and showing the possibility of what may happen in the future. And as we've seen some animals in the rainforest now, let us explore further to see what other wildlife can be found. Over to animals now.
Okay, everyone, we've learned a bit about our rainforest. So now, let's get to know some of the endangered animals in Malaysia rainforest. To do that, we are going to enter a virtual escape room where we have to solve some riddles in order for us to rescue some endangered animals. Are you ready? If you're ready, please let us know using the thumbs up or right. Let's start on the chat. Yes, I see most of you are ready. Now that we are ready, let's start. Welcome to room 1. In this room, you'll have about 60 seconds to save one of the endangered animals in Malaysia by solving the riddle, what am I? So you'll be given 2 clues for the riddle. And now I'm going to read the first clue for you and then start the timer. Okay, here is your first clue. They poach me for my meat, skin, bone, teeth, and everything else. Some people believe that I'm a living pharmacy. So almost every part of me has been used in folk or traditional medicine. So what am I? Do you have any idea what this animal might be? Take a guess now. Or do you need the second clue? I see some of you already guessed the answer. Let's look at the second clue first before I reveal the animal. I represent the national football team and a bank, and I'm one of the most famous animals in the world. So what am I? I'm sure the second clue gives away the answer, kan? Football team, a bank, and some of you actually already give away the answer. Let's see. Yes, this is our Malayan tiger, one of the pride of Malaysia. But according to IUCN, this species is currently categorized as critically endangered, which means they are facing extremely high risk of extinction in the wild. So well done. We have saved Mr. Tiger within 60 seconds. And Mr. Tiger here says there are some things we could do to help his population. The first one, do not eat exotic meat. And the second one, do not buy souvenirs made of parts of wildlife. And the third one, educate your friends and family. All right, let's move on to the next room, shall we? You ready for the next riddles? Yes? Welcome to room 2. Okay, in the second room, the same rules apply. You have 60 seconds to save the animal and to solve the what am I riddles. But for this room, I would like a volunteer from all of you to represent our second animal and read the given clues. Any animal lover here would like to represent this animal? I'm gonna give it 5 seconds. If anyone would like to read the clues for us. Okay, I see Rina Omar raise hand. You can unmute yourself.
Sure thing.
Yes, I'm gonna reveal the clue now.
Okay, the card reads, my population is facing extinction due to habitat loss. Your people destroy our home and also catch us for illegal animal trade. Some of our friends in Indonesia were killed for their meat. What am I?
Oh, thank you, Rina. So, all right, any guess of what animal is this? Or do you need the second clue? Some say bat, monkey. Okay, let's share the second clue, yeah? I see someone else raised hand just now as well. Can you read the second? Yes, Sarin, can you read the second clue for us?
Sure. I am quite similar to your species, but I am sure I am more attractive than you.
So, thank you, Sarin. So, what am I? Let me see your guesses. Some of you mentioned a monkey. I cannot read the chat. I don't know why. Okay, let's reveal the answer, yeah?
Quite a lot of orangutans as well.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay. Yes, this is your hairy friend from Borneo, the orangutan. But sadly, they're also categorized as endangered, critically endangered species, which is a high risk of extinction in the wild. So well done, everyone. We managed to save Mr. Orangutan as well. Here are some things that we could do to help them. Mr. Orangutan here says that please do not destroy their home, stop deforestation, do not support illegal animal trade as well. And similar to the previous one, educate your friends and family. Okay. Yeah, I see some comment. I cannot imagine people eating orangutan. Yeah, me too. But I saw it somewhere that in Indonesia, they actually do that. And thank you, everyone. We managed to save both of these endangered animals today. And I hope all of you enjoy it. But because of time, that's the end of our virtual extra escape room. Do you want more riddle though? Well, if you want more riddle, hopefully the next event with us, you'll get to solve more riddles next time. And of course, there are more than endangered animals that need saving other than just tiger and orangutans. Even like our local endangered animals, there are a lot of them. And if you want to learn more about them, stay tuned for future session on endangered animals. The Habitat Foundation actually has one whole module just for this topic. Okay, so during the game and session just now, I used 3 key strategies to make the lesson interactive and interesting for the audience. The first one is I use fun riddles to engage curiosity. And the second one is I gamify the content of our learning to make it more interesting. And I also introduce some conservation terminologies such as the acronyms for each animal categories, from IUCN, like for example, CR for critically endangered. And if you want to know more about it, you can visit the IUCN website at your own time, and they have all the updated status of our endangered animals. So now, let's get ready for our next adventure in exploring more about human behavior.
Okay, everyone, we have now come to our final stop, that is waste management and plastic. So back to the humans. In this section, we will briefly explore three things. First, we'll be looking at natural waste and man-made waste. Second is where does the waste go? And third, we'll ponder on need versus want. Okay, you ready? Thank you, Nancy. That was like session. Okay, first. Okay, so moving on from the riddles, right now we are going to play a bit of a choosing game. We'll be looking at the picture, and everyone please get ready to share in the chat whether you think the image represents a nature made waste or human made waste. If you are ready, please give me a thumbs up or in the chat. Ready? Yes, okay. 3, 2. So this one is going to be a rapid fire round. So it will be 10 seconds per image, okay? Go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yep, everyone got it right. It is natural. There's dried leaves. Okay, second image, ready? So, yeah, so right now, what can we see? Nature made waste, human made waste. Yep, it is in fact what all of us are wearing today. It is in fact clothes that are man-made. Okay, and then I'm going to move on to the next image. 3, 2, 1. What can you see? Is this nature waste or man-made waste? Yeah, it is indeed natural. Yeah, it's poop. Okay, 5 seconds. 3, 2. Yeah, I guess it can be produced by humans, but it's biodegradable, so it can go back into nature. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, this one. So this might be a familiar sight for all of us since the pandemic with all the online shopping. Yes, it is in fact, yeah, this one is man-made online shopping, right? 3, okay, I'm going to go to the next image. Okay, the last image. 3, 2, 1. Is this natural waste or man-made waste? So this one, half. Yeah, I can see people say half. And let's see what our friends on Facebook Live. Okay, another, yeah, actually a majority of you are saying, even on Facebook, is man-made. Yeah, so this one is actually as someone was saying, sharing earlier, it is sort of half, because if you imagine eating like raw food, it's completely 100% biodegradable, and that would be like natural waste. But if you cook it in oil and everything, and then if there's any plastic stuck to it, that would be man-made waste. Okay, so this is so how I think everyone did very well and very quick, and most people got it right. I mean, actually everyone kind of got it right. So let's look a bit more closer at natural waste and man-made. So with natural waste, it does not produce anything that cannot be broken down, and it will go into a cycle and becomes nutrients that go back to the soil. Whereas with man-made waste, they use resources and materials that cannot be fully broken down and ends up polluting the earth. It goes in a linear way. That is a key thing. So about 97% of our waste, so the ones that go linear, they end up being in landfills. So a question for everyone to answer in the chat: how long do you think Malaysians take to produce 38,000 tons of waste? I'm gonna give a few seconds. There's 1 minute, 1 hour, 1 month, 1 week. Okay, our friends on Facebook, 24 hours, 1 second, 24 hours. Let's see, I'll just give another bit of time. So actually, there's definitely a good amount of awareness here from our friends on both Zoom and Facebook. It is indeed this amount of amount of trash is produced on a daily basis. So not quite as fast as 1 second, thankfully, and we don't hope to go there ever. And this is the equivalent if how much is 38,000 tons. So imagine you on your shoulders you're shouldering 38 MyVs you're carrying. So that is on a daily basis how much waste we are that goes to our landfills. So what do you think happens when rubbish is not thrown properly? And a question for everyone is that, do you think it is important to throw rubbish properly? Yeah, yes. So all of us want to throw rubbish properly. It can be biohazard as hazard. Yeah. Okay. Because what happens is that although I think looking at the chat, all of us have the intention, we want to dispose our waste properly, but illegal dumping does happen, unfortunately. So let's gauge among all of you whether you've seen any of this happen. Have you seen it in reality, either A, B, C, D, E? Please indicate in the chat. And if you've seen more than one, which one have you seen the most? So if you see the alphabets A, B, C, D, E, if you could share in the chat which one you've seen. So Serene said not much in Kedah, thankfully. So we've got actually some who have seen the E one is actually the worst, which is actually the toxic in Kim Kim, and we've got some of our friends who've seen this. And actually a lot of people are saying they've seen, majority a lot of this, unfortunately. So with that in mind, okay, let us all, I think the message is let's all try to be more conscious and help each other out and remind each other and figure out what we can do about it. How can we create less rubbish? So let's look into the next part. Okay, we've learned so much of a glimpse into rubbish and waste, and now let's see in the next few images whether you would categorize this as one or is it needs. Okay, ready? Okay, 3, 2, 1. What do you think? Is this need or is it one? Yeah. So our body, yes. So 3, 2, 1. It is in fact sebulat suara. It is a need. Even our bodies are made of water, and we need it for our survival. Okay, I'm going to go to the next image. Moving on from water, something that we truly need for survival. I emphasize survival. What do we need for our survival? Yeah. So actually, someone shared that it has become a certain need as well in terms of in our day-to-day, and I'm sure some of you are connecting through the phone. But if die, when it comes to like our survival, it is certainly I guess a one. And then both. In lockdown, in need, connected emotionally. It is very true. Agree. Maybe the question is that do we need more than one phone? Okay, I'll go to someone said no. Okay, I'll say next image. So this one is, imagine this one is not of biodegradable material, it's made of like polyester, for instance. Yep. This is definitely a one. A lot of people are sharing one. It is okay. So 3 seconds, I'm going to go into the next image. 3, 2, 1. Our last image of the day for this section. Okay, what about this? Yeah. Need, Serene is saying need a lot right now. Yeah, it is getting towards lunchtime. I'm sure a lot of you thinking, I definitely need this. But I guess a food for thought is so Sarin said also COVID-19, are we sharing this? There's a balance between need and want, right? Maybe what's the right amount of food that we need, and the rest that can be shared with others. Okay, So with that, what do you think, based on the activity we've done earlier, what do you think is the most important thing here in the need versus want? I give you 5 seconds. Anyone in the chat? The key here is, what is the message? What do you think is the takeaway message here? Yes. Think before you buy and act. In fact, yes, that is it. So I think before we want something, it's important for us to actually reflect first whether it's something that we really, really need, or is it just more of a want. Okay. So this is an example of a way to activate learners to take action by writing a pledge. So when you create a pledge, it helps to create a sense of accountability, because otherwise it'll just be like, a fun activity, and where is our what do we plan to do after this? And this is something that you could easily do on Canva, or you could also create a Padlet where your learners can share this. So now let's put back our educator's hat, and I'm going to summarize three key strategies that we've used for this session. So the first one, is engaging our learners to by getting them to make choices. And secondly is using example like that the audience, that the learners can connect to, like comparing cars with the weight of something that can be quite abstract. And lastly is to activate kids by getting them to write out a pledge for themselves. So, and that concludes our environmental journey for today. Thank you very much.
All right, so thank you for embarking on this journey with us through different activities and different learning strategies. So as we've gone through a lot of strategies now, I would really like to know, what are 2 strategies that you've remembered so far? So please write in the chat, what are 2 things that you remember so far, based on the numerous strategies that we've gone through today? All right, there's a lot of engage, connect, storytelling, imagination, props, explaining through visualization and audio, multisensory, taking notes, gamification.
And a lot of what we shared today is sort of overlapping with each other.
Mm-hmm. And one thing to also remember as well, this is not the only way that you can do it. So a lot of what we are doing now, it's also through trial and error as well. And so later during the Q&A, would also love to hear your thoughts on what you have been doing in your classrooms and what works. Because let's take this space to not only experience, but learn from one another as well. I see on Facebook, gamification, visual, audio, call to action, connect, giving instructions, engaging, visualization. All right. So let's revisit our learning intentions for today. So let's think about, were you able to identify some practical activities to teach environmental modules? And were you able to experience some strategies to use in an online session? So from our end, we hope you have. And let's end this session with this. Tak kenal maka tak cinta. Bila kenal kita cinta. Bila cinta kita lindung. So this is the main reason why we would love to encourage people to go into environmental education, because that is how we can get people to love it when they know something. And yes, it is very true for what Nazreen shared. It is a matter of what we do best. All right, so let's move on into our Q&A section. So anyone has any questions, feel free to unmute yourself, or any thoughts you have, please also feel free to unmute or share in the chat.
Yes, maybe some of you can also share some approaches that you have used before that have worked for you. and like about your own experience using different strategies. So we can definitely learn from each other.
And please feel free to unmute as well. We haven't had much of other voices today. I mean, audio.
So a really good question from Rina. So a lot of our videos are from YouTube. So for most of the videos, we would try to get them from the more an educational type of sources, so then it will be easier for us to use it immediately in the classrooms.
The other thing as well about like when you have certain images, so it's to make sure that you credit. So if you notice in our slides, whenever there's a certain image, for example, like when Nat Geography, you have to credit the photographer and also the link to the source.
Hi, I have a question actually.
Mhm.
So from your side, actually, how do you what are the say obstacles that you face when it comes to educating people in terms of virtual education? Because previously most of us conduct those education in terms of physical one. So what are the obstacles and how do you manage to gauge the audience engagement in terms of educating them virtually?
Um, Maybe I can take that. So for that one, actually, there's a lot of trial and error. So I think especially last year it was definitely an uphill battle because it was really new to many of us. So then as we go along and as we have sessions like this, as we have sessions with students, then we also learn and discuss with our friends in the education line as well. There is a question on like, so what about students with lower internet reach? So if you realize some of the activities actually need very little internet. So what Aisha did with waste management is choosing either or. So as long as students have enough internet to get on Google Meet or Zoom, then they should be able to choose, even
Yeah.
if they don't turn on their videos.
It could also be done as what Yongu say with that the same images need versus one, an example that you can easily do it on WhatsApp. So I've thought in Pasir Gudang where the kids really cannot they don't have enough data to do Google Meet. So most of the classes have been on WhatsApp. So just releasing the images so one by one and then just getting the interaction utilizing Q&A. And another I think for as an educator as well for us is also managing our expectations. So if you're very new to this, as what Yongru said earlier, it takes a lot of trial and error because all our students come from different backgrounds. They would respond and react to different things. So it's kind of trying to take it easy on ourselves as well and try to test out what works and what doesn't work.
All right. So I really like that some people are already helping to answer some of the questions, like how to insert media into slides. And these are the types of discussions and help that we would love to have as well. So as educators, it's always very important to have a group of friends who you will also discuss about like what went well in your class and what didn't go so well. And because you share all these, then other people can also learn from you as well. So there is a question on Facebook on like what is the best number of participants for an online program? It actually really depends on what type of activities that you want to run. So for today we have about 100 plus participants via Zoom, and we're still able to engage. But if you realize we do not have small group discussions because of that. So it really depends on like what is it that you want to focus within your activities. So there is no like ideal number of students per se.
Nancy, you wanted to say something earlier. Okay, I think Nancy might be frozen, is it? So there's a question about how do we know that students actually learned something from the lessons that you've taught? So what we've shared in one of the strategies is like doing a recap. So when you it's also what Yongru shared earlier about taking notes. So whenever you're going to show them a content, having things like worksheets or questions in advance, that's a way for you to gauge understanding or like of whether the instructional content. And it's, let's see. And a very simple way, simple and interactive way is doing quizzes. So I think it depends on whether you want to do like a closed-ended questions or an open-ended one. If you want to encourage more kind of critical thinking, and how do you relate them back to the content back to where they are from? Sorry, I hope that answers it.
So there's a question from Rina about working with different groups from kindy all the way to uni. So actually, a lot of strategies that we use here can be done for the age range of from kindy all the way to university and adults as well. So the key over here is how do you break it down to simplify it for kindergarten students, and how do you speak in a different tone for uni students and adults. And agree as well, the breakout room options is really, really helpful for group discussions. So for some, if you would like to have spaces for the students to discuss, that is your way to go.
I think the question about the class size, I think that I guess we can relate back to what our capacity is as a teacher, because maybe certain I think educators would prefer a smaller size. But another way to tackle kind of like if you have a big size group is like what Puan Chong has said, having having support of another, if you're able to, having a support of another educator to be co-teach might be a way to help when you have like more than large groups of learners, of students. But Yongru, would you say what's the optimum if you're one person?
If I'm one person, I would say do practice. So if let's say we are talking about a group of 100 like today, then do practice quite a bit before you engage a larger group of students. A group of 30 to 50, it's quite easy for one person after a couple of times. So anything more than that, or like if you need to set up breakout rooms, do practice. The key here is practice. There is also a question on Facebook on like any online ideas for blind students. So probably what I would encourage a bit more is the storytelling part and using different senses. So instead of using videos, you can use more sound effects and more storytelling type things. On top of my head, I do not have any specific resources at the moment, but if anyone in the group can share or know any other materials, please do let us know as well.
And I think for the blind students, we can definitely use storytelling and be as descriptive as we can when we describe something, for them to be able to use their imagination.
When it comes to, I think there's a question, maybe is covered earlier, but non-responsive students. It's also about scaffolding or building on the students' confidence. So by asking a close-ended question, if it's just yes or no, something really, really simple. So you want to build up the question. You begin with something that, you know, is just a yes or no. So close-ended questions are good to begin with. And then slowly you can build, as you can see, the students build up their confidence. And then you can kind of ask more open-ended questions. So that's something that we need to be mindful of as well, about, like, you know, our level of ambition with our students. So we need to be able to meet the students where they're at and really understand where is our students, where they are, you know, comfort zone, and what's outside their comfort zone, and how do you build up that confidence. And to find out if there's something, you know, to find out offline as well, if when we, at the end of a session, when you get feedback, and asking the students whether did something work, or how can we be improved on.
Hi, I have a question. In designing the presentation, should we prioritize information or engagement first? Because right now we are looking at having conducting classes online. So a lot of time we get a difficulty to choose whether should we pump in a lot of information or should we focus more on engagement with the audience.
So really good question over there. I think when we think about engaging, why do we want to engage them? Because we want to pass information. So also think about how much information can a person take in during a time period. So for example, if there is a lot of information on the slide, would that interest students, and would we be able to stay focused for that long? So think of students who have different learning needs. So then for me, that would be what I would think of first. For me, I would prioritize engagement over having a lot of information on slides, only because once a student is engaged, therefore, he or she will be more keen to learn. But that's just my thoughts. So anyone else also feel free to chime in.
To build up on that, yeah, I agree on Youngwoo on engagement part, because it's not about how much we know and how much the information that we have that we want to transfer to our students, but we also need to, like Aisha mentioned previously, we have to meet where students are at their level, and build their confidence, and the relationship online virtually with the students will help with the engagement as well. So as long as we have the students' interest, we get them to be engaged, I'm sure the information that we will try to convey will delivered. Yeah.
And with CNC, connecting to what Nancy was saying, you know, with the students and engagement is really crucial, because I think we also have to listen to if they are not engaged, it's harder for them to absorb, and if they are tired. So like someone is sharing in the chat, you know, so what our students are facing is virtual fatigue. You know, it's very difficult just being online for a long time, and even if it's just a WhatsApp class, or if it's Google Meet or Zoom. And I think being able to also get their involvement in part of our lesson planning, I think, can help sometimes, because they, rather than, I think, the teachers just deciding everything, I think get your students' input. You know, okay, so what activities I think would actually energize you, and a lot of, I think, be as well in certain instances that they may able to support us. Yeah.
And I guess for me, this quote goes two ways, right? The first part especially, tak kenal maka tak cinta. So in order for them to kenal, what needs to be done first? And for our end, for low engagements, were we able to understand why students are not engaged, or what are some struggles they are facing as well? So something to think about.
And I think I think have to keep emphasizing that I think as teachers also, we also have to be, again, it goes back to managing our expectations, because sometimes we want the students to do more, we expect a lot more from them. And if we, going back to that, how do we meet halfway? Because it can get, I think we also as teachers have to look after ourselves in terms of like, okay, because we will get even more fatigue from trying to, you have to pick your battles. Yongru, there's a question as well about encouraging students to turn on their camera. So aside from a game, do you have any other tips?
So depending on how much you will need, like how many times you'll be meeting the students. So for some of the sessions, if I would meet students multiple times, I would have a point system for it, and then they can like choose an animal sound or choose a song as a reward after. Other times I would also tell myself that actually, would students need a lot of data if they were to turn on the camera? Is it a necessity for that session to have the camera on? So that would also be things that I would ask myself first before making it an expectation. However, I definitely have to say, when people turn on cameras, the facilitators are also a lot more motivated. If the students would have data issues, then I would let that slide or let that go.
And I think from our experience, generally, it's about coming together as a community, and which is what, like, I think during the session, we are also learning, looking at your comments. And I think being able to do more sharing like this, I think goes to show that there's hopefully, we get stronger together that way in terms of online facilitation and learning. And students being able to get teachers to share the different circumstances for their students would also shed a light on how we approach our students. I was wondering if anyone have any would like to kind of come unmute and maybe share your thoughts or experience.
And I think as educators, we can also be really, really hard on ourselves and sometimes overlook what are really good things that you are doing in your own classrooms. And it is very easy for us to see not so great things, like maybe students are not responding to us or like the cameras are not on. But for this session, let's think about what went well in your own classrooms, and do share with others, because what's going on well in your class may be something that someone else can learn from.
Hi, my name is Aya. I would like to share something.
Hi.
Hi. I'm from TCS, Total Conservation Society of Malaysia. So I teach education conservation with some teenage students. And the only thing that my question previously was about the unresponsive students, because I noticed that from the previous batch, the students were more interactive and more engaging. But as we proceed to, extension of MCO, so all these students are, like I mentioned, they are virtually fatigued. So it's not that they are not interested, they're just not there, they are not present. But what I did was actually, I brought out a topic and asked for them to share their opinions. And that is where I see all the students suddenly light up and they all go very talkative. And even though it strays away a bit from the topic or the subject that I'm teaching, but it's good to see that the students are alive in that session. So that's just something I think everyone else can try as well, just to get them, back into your class. Be present. Thank you.
Thank you, Alia.
So thank you so much for sharing. And sometimes that's true. We would need different topics to engage students a little bit more before we can focus back to our own learning objectives.
It's like a timeout, right? All of us need a timeout.
All right. So keep your questions coming. As so I see that in the chat, there is a phone game that has just been shared as well. So let's also continue to share all the strategies that you have in the chat. And if we have more questions, let's keep it coming. So before we end the session here, so let's complete 2 items to reflect on your journey today. So the first one, so as educators, it's always very, very important to have your participants note down their learnings. So the first thing is we would like all of you to complete this Padlet, and we will also be sharing this this template that we have on Facebook and Instagram, and feel free to tag the Habitat Foundation, Greensmiths, and Conserve, Educate, Inspire. So this is the Padlet for today. What you will be doing is, please note down 3 things that you have learned today, 2 questions that you still have. After this session, we will still continue to answer any questions that you have over here. 1 thing that you would like to try and implement after this session. So please do remember that for us, it's also always very important to get people to take action. So what is 1 thing you would like to implement? And as an educator, there is always room for improvement. So please let us know. Even better if next time, I want to know more about, or any feedback for us as well, or any other comments that you have. So I really like one of the sharings in the chat as well. So our generation is dealing with has a very short attention span. So sometimes if that is something that you've identified, then we will find strategies around it. So it could be a case of sharing a short clip and get students to focus, or getting them to watch something and take notes. So it's not only watching, but an action that comes with that watching as well. And things like quizzes, Kahoot, they can be an educator's best friend. Another really, really good point that came up is, so for a lot of the Habitat modules, there is also actually this thing called the home discovery. So whereby after going through a session, then there is sort of like worksheets that comes with it. And then students can also do their own learnings from there. All right, so before we leave, let's take a group photo with us, if that's all right. So can we have everyone to turn on your videos where possible, and let's take a group photo together. All right, so I see that everyone's cameras are on. All right, so give me your widest smile. And Ethan, can you help us take a screenshot?
Can Ethan count down?
Yeah. Could you count down, please?
Totally. Just give me
Thank
a
you.
Thanks, Ethan.
All right. Seems like quite a few pages.
All right, so you can also give a little reaction as we take a photo as well. So there's a little reaction button over there. You can like whether put tada or like hearts or like other reactions that you want as well.
Right, 3, 2, 1.
So fast, Ethan. Tadi.
Okay, one more time.
Yeah, I think we have like 4 pages of pictures.
Yeah. Page. For some reason, I couldn't flip the pages though.
All right, so everybody give us a little bit of patience and continue smiling.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Hang on, there's something wrong. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
All right, so thank you everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. It was really a pleasure to have all of you
Thank
here
you.
with us. And if you would like to contact us for anything, please email projects@greensmith.org or inquiry@thehabitat.my. Any other questions that you have listed down via the Padlet, we will answer after this session as well. All right, thank you so much, everyone. Take care, stay safe.
Thank you.
Everyone.